if I turn around this camera, y'all gonna see my real shame, and I can't talk about it. I'm ashamed. But when I tell you the way that I've been living for the past 4.5 months since moving into this apartment, shameful.
You're ashamed of yourself.
Hello. Did you guys miss me? I know. I wasn't trying to take a week off. I really wasn't. But when I tell you that flu got me, whatever flu was going around, it got me. I was legit out of commission for a week, like in bed. Girl, it really got me this time. However, I'm back. Hey y'all, it's your girl Otavia. Welcome back to the Fat Belly Podcast. Let me say, I am so grateful for y'all. Y'all have been so supportive. Like insanely supportive. I also am going to eventually have guests and things like that on this podcast. I just wanted to have an anecdotal story time because sometimes as an immigrant, as an expat living abroad, it's hard. No one really talks about a lot of the shit that goes on. Like shit happens. I don't know why there's just this idea that because I live abroad, I don't go through shit. Like when I speak with my family and I'm like, yeah, yo, I'm low on coins. They don't believe me because they're like, oh, you live in Europe. How can you be low on coins?
Okay. Whatever that be.
Like I'm not paying bills. Like I'm not. Let's get into part 3 of my shit show move to the Netherlands because part 3 involves this very apartment that I'm sitting my booty in right now. And thank the Lord. Thank the Lord Jesus. I don't have much longer to be in this apartment. I'm ready to go. I've been ready to go since I moved in, if I'm going to be honest. And that's what we're going to get into right now. If you guys didn't watch part 2, this is going to branch off of part 2 because while I was staying in the Airbnb, the nasty, shitty Airbnb, I was also apartment hunting because I didn't want to waste no time. You know, the clock is ticking. I got to apply for residence permits, etc., etc. So I was applying for apartments. I was going on apartment tours, etc. And I think it was like the last week that I was staying in the Airbnb, I got a call from this apartment that I saw. And they were like, oh, the landlord wants to choose you to rent their apartment. They love that you love the vintage features. For example, this fireplace is one of the things that I was like, yes, this is super cute. I'm a vintage gal. I love vintage. So when I saw this place, I was like, oh, this is super cute. This is super my style. That was the end of May. This apartment wasn't going to be available until the beginning of July. So after I left my Airbnb at the end of May, I had a whole month of like trying to figure out what I'm gonna do until I move in my apartment. At this point, I ain't got no more limbs to give to Airbnb because paying $3K a month for a room for an apartment when I'm about to move into an apartment, crazy. Couldn't find anything that was not expensive. So for a whole month, I was like, girl, had to figure it out.
Insufficient funds. You ain't got no money.
Had to figure it out, honestly. It was looking real rough. I'm not gonna lie. Had to call up a friend that I didn't even know that well. Thankful for her. She was like, yeah, you can stay with me for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Found an Airbnb for a few days, did dog sit. Made it work, girl. Made it work. So here comes July 1st. I move into this apartment. And the day comes where I'm supposed to be checking in, getting my keys, doing the move-in inventory where you check everything. Is everything okay? You document it with a real estate agent and the landlord and all that. When I talked to the real estate agent about making the appointment to move into my place and get the keys, they were like, okay, the previous tenant's going to be moving out at 12. Can you come at 12:30? Literally. And at the time there was like a tiny little red flag waving in my face, but I didn't really take it too seriously. I'm like, maybe that's just the customs here. I don't know the country. Let me not overthink it. So I come and literally as at 12:30, I'm at the door and the previous tenant is still here doing his checkout inventory. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I meet the landlord. This is my first time meeting the landlord. They're super smiley, cheery. You know, everybody's real happy when money is involved. So everybody real happy, cheery, real estate agent. Oh my gosh, so happy you're moving in. And there's things that's coming up already from the first moment I step in here. The landlord and his son are scrubbing the wood floor. And they're like, oh, the previous tenant didn't tell us there was a stain on the floor, so we're just gonna get this up real quick. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then we go toward the bathroom. There's a tile missing on the tub. And they're also like, oh, the previous tenant didn't tell us that this was missing, so we're just gonna fix this real quick. The first day. And then I go to the kitchen and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put insulation on this door and we're gonna come paint it all this. I'm like, okay, I guess that's just how they do it here last minute, but okay. As long as it gets done. I'm just happy to be in my place, not have to hunt for apartments no day more. I'm over it. Happy to be here. I'm just feeling real cheery, real excited to be in my new place and have this place that's super furnished. Like if you see my roof, can you see it in the look at that? Real pretty, right? Cute. Vintage. We like a vintage. So this is what was keeping me optimistic. So then the first day, they fix all the things that they were saying they were going to fix. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Comes the end of the first day that I'm here. I had went out to go shopping to look for like things I needed, like trash can, bed, etc., etc. Came back, it was already nighttime. And I'm like, phew, I'm pooped. So for whatever reason, when I went to go to bed, on the very first night I was here, I was just like, let me check if this is a brand new bed. I didn't pay attention to it before. I'm assuming they're going to give me a new bed. But I go to take up the sheets that were on the bed. Tell me why it's a very old, stained mattress on this bed. And I know it's old because it's a plaid mattress. And they ain't made plaid mattresses since the 1920s. I don't know any company that's still manufacturing mattresses that are plaid. And it had these big old brown stains on them. And I'm like, now why would I sleep in this? I'm disgusted. I'm like, ooh, gross. Okay, maybe I was supposed to buy a bed too. I thought it was gonna be included, but whatever. Noted. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna just make a pallet. I'm gonna come leave it in the living room. I'm gonna come sleep in the living room because that mattress is dirty and I just don't feel comfortable sleeping in my bedroom. I come to the living room to come chill. It's dark, right? I flip on the light switch and tell me why there is a spider, a big spider crawling up the wall. I'm like, oh no, just out of panic, just out of pure reaction, I grab an umbrella and I smack the spider. That's why there's a freaking line still there from the first night that I moved in. So you see, I'm mentioning all these things that happened on the first day I moved in. I'm mentioning this because that kind of set the precedent for what was going to come hereafter. Within the first week, as time goes on, I keep seeing spider after spider on this wall in particular. Big, juicy motherfuckers. And I'm just starting to feel uncomfortable. Because every night I come in here, there's a new spider. And I'm like, am I tripping? Did I just maybe not kill the first one properly? But no, bitch, because I know I killed it because I had to clean it up. So these are new spiders coming every day. So I'm noticing that for the first few days. And I'm going to other rooms and I'm starting to notice things. Things are starting to stick out. I'm starting to notice cracks on the roof, holes on the walls, paint chips everywhere, stains everywhere. I'm noticing these things. And in particular, there's a wall here in my living room that when I came to view the apartment, the tenant was still living here. So there was furniture everywhere. So I didn't even get to see a lot of the things that were wrong with the place. So sure enough, when I moved in and there was no longer furniture there, I can see everything. I remember in particular when I came for the viewing, the previous tenant was sitting at a desk in this corner that was covering the wall. He was sitting there while we were doing the viewing. So now I look at this wall. This is probably the worst wall in the house. So within the first week, I'm starting to notice, oh, there's water stains here. Oh, this bathroom has mold in it. Oh, there's mold here. And what was once optimism and naivete, thinking, oh, it's fine. I can wash a wall here or there. I can clean a crack here or there. It slowly became too much because that's how much I was noticing every day I was staying here. And then it just became too much. It became too many cracks. It became too much dust. It became too much mold. I started to feel like I bought a house that was a fixer upper when I'm not buying a house and I'm renting a very expensive apartment. I think that came to a point where I was discovering all these things and then I just started looking intently and I'm starting to notice that there are also spider webs and places that spider webs shouldn't be. Like day 2 on my move into this apartment, I went in the kitchen to go clean it up because that's just a ritual I do whenever I move into a new place. I clean the kitchen, clean microwave, fridge. That's just what I do. I like to have my stuff clean, like I said. So I'm going to go do this. And there was a coffee maker that was on the counter and it had like this white string around it.
That's weird.
And I'm like, what is this white string? It was like very opaque white string. So then I go in the cabinet and there's this cabinet that has like a pull out trolley. You know those IKEA ones that have like a pull out drawer? There's this drawer. And on this drawer is like, again, this thick, opaque white string like thing. So I'm starting to put two and two together with the spiders that I'm seeing. And I'm like, oh, these are cobwebs, but very thick cobwebs. And also underneath said drawer was like this big pile of what looked like dead ants. As I said, as I was searching more things, I'm starting to put two and two together. I'm noticing cobwebs here, cobwebs there. There was a cobweb under my sink in my bathroom. So by the end of week 1, all this happened within 1 week. By the end of week 1, I am overwhelmed. I am stressed out. I am in disbelief, honestly. I'm like, I just moved into this place. It's not clean to my standards by any means. There's hella spiders and spider webs. What can I do? I'm going on Facebook trying to reach out to like local groups of people who live in the Netherlands and I'm like, what can I do if my apartment's not clean? There's a ton of spiders and people are just like being condescending, people are just gaslighting me. They're like, "Oh, if my tenant complained about spiders, I would just laugh in their face." Like someone said that to me on Facebook. So I'm just getting a lot of like dead ends on what I can do. So I'm feeling hopeless. So for like a few days, I was here, depression, sleeping. I remember it vividly because I was in bed for like 3 days, being overwhelmed. And this all happened within the first 2 weeks. So then by week 2, I feel completely shut down. I feel completely disgusted because I discovered more and more spiders. I'm looking on the end of heaters and there's like spiders that clearly have been living there. I'm finding cobwebs that have clearly been there for a while in every fucking room. In every room of this apartment, I have found spiders. The kitchen, there are top cabinets and bottom cabinets, right? So there came a point where I would go to the kitchen and I would discover new spiders hanging from the top cabinets, just chilling, hanging, living there, like it's their home. I'd also like to say that there was one day I went into the kitchen innocently, and when you step up to the counter, you're like about to cook something, your feet like tuck under the counter. When my feet went under the counter, a big ass spider ran out across my feet. Bitch. Across my motherfucking feet. I'm cringing just thinking about it. I don't think I really stressed how many spiders I found. Not only was I finding spiders on this wall every single night, I was going to my room and finding the biggest spiders you can think of. Big ass bitches. On the wall. In the bathroom. There were spiders underneath my sink. These are all different spiders. These are not the same one moving place to place. I was finding them on the radiator, on the heaters, in every room, which it's a 3-room apartment. It's a kitchen that has a separate room, a bedroom, and a living room, all 3 different rooms. I'm finding spiders. There was a spider I found in the shower, just chilling, hanging from the shower. I was finding spiders underneath my cabinet, at the bottom, and underneath my top cabinet. Okay. They were everywhere. I was not escaping. I don't think I've ever seen this many spiders in my fucking life. And I'm not even arachnophobic. But bitch, it felt like I was being overthrown in my own apartment. I'm feeling like, when the fuck did I move to a forest? It sounds like I'm on a main street in a big city, but what? Why I'm living like I'm in a forest right now? I was feeling like I was going to be the next prey. There was one night I was making up my bed and a fucking spider is running towards me, crawling on my fucking bed, the place where I lay my head at night. Whoa. Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. I am checked out because I'm like, there's no way. I just dealt with this Airbnb thing. I just waited an entire month. I had to scrimmage and ask and beg and pray that I found places for a month until this place was ready. I sent them my money after spending all this money on Airbnb, after spending all this money on plane tickets, after spending all this money on deposits and first month's rent. And I'm dealing with this. And I'm not finding any support. The people I'm reaching out to are saying, well, there's nothing you can do. That's just how they do it here in this country. And I feel like I'm at a stopping point. I feel like I'm at a dead end. I just feel I think that was the lowest I've been in my life. Girl, it was like I was just getting through a hurdle and then another hurdle came and I just had no more energy. After just coming from all the shit that I went through in the US to then moving here, dealing with the Airbnb thing, to then it being summertime and work is slow in the summertime, so I'm already using my savings and all this stuff that I have to use, and it's going out very quickly because this country is expensive. Then moving into this apartment after asking friends to stay with them for a month and trying to figure out ways to like not be homeless for just 1 month until I move into my new place, then spending money on the deposit, first month's rent, last month's, all this stuff, spending all this money to move in here, and to then be dealing with this. I was absolutely at my last straw. It was, when I tell y'all, I have been the lowest I think I've ever been in my life in this apartment. I was ready for it to all be done. Like, are we going to have a real conversation right now? I was ready for it to all be done, if you know what I'm saying. So then, praise be, I had already planned to do this meditation retreat, which I like to do. I had already planned to do it with my friend in France coming up shortly in August. So, pretty much after being in a very low place, I was like, I just have to make it to August to do this meditation retreat, and we're going to see where life takes me. For the first month that I was here, it was just like, I was empty, girl. Empty, drained, depressed. So, finally, after 2 weeks of suffering, someone helpful actually reaches out and is like, hey, it's free lawyer that you can consult for housing purposes that's here in the Netherlands. So I reach out to them. I ask for advice on what I can do. Can I get out of my contract? What can I do? And then she's also like sending me tips. She's like, yeah, this also happened to me. This is this. She's the first helpful person that I'm hearing going through all of this and actually giving me solutions and making me feel like I'm not crazy. Like, having spiders crawling on your bed and in your shower is not normal. So with her saving grace, with the lawyer that I reached out to, with the fact that I was doing a meditation in a few weeks, I was able to push through. And I also reached out to another friend, and I'm like, fuck, I can't sleep in this apartment anymore. I'm stressed out. It got to a point where I wasn't sleeping anymore. That's how bad it got. I didn't want to sleep. After I saw the spider crawling on my bed, I was done. I think for like 3 days, I did not sleep. I was up all night because I'm like, I can't feel peace anymore. Knowing that there's spiders on my bed, knowing that there's spiders every fucking where. Girl, concrete jungle or just jungle? Like, I call one of my friends, one of my lovely friends that I've known since I lived in Paris. She lives in Amsterdam. And I'm like, girl, I need to leave my apartment. I'm at a terrible place in life and I'm dealing with this fucking apartment and it's a nightmare. And luckily, I'm so grateful to all these people who have helped me along this journey because for the next 2 weeks until I left for my meditation retreat, I stayed at her place. I'm so grateful for her. Laura, girl, Laura. And this was a different friend that I stayed with from before. So I'm literally like milking all the fucking resources. And I'm someone who doesn't ever ask for help. I'm a very independent person. But I needed assistance. I was so low that I needed help. And I'm very grateful I got it. So fast forward, I stayed at my friend's house for 2 weeks. I was able to get fucking sleep. I was able to get a little bit more clarity on what I can do in this situation. But before I left for the meditation retreat, I ended up coming back here because there was some stuff I left. Because when my friend was like, yeah, you can come to my place and stay for 2 weeks, I bolted out. I left everything as it was. So I needed to come back to get some stuff before I left for France. I come back, I go to the kitchen. Why I go to the kitchen? I'm about to like clean the stuff that I left in the sink, and a fucking spider runs across. My hand is like on the counter. A fucking spider runs across that bitch. A fucking spider ran. I was like, no, get me out of here. I left immediately. Immediately, I left.
Immediately.
Then I went back to my friend's place, left for France. The rest is history. To make the matter worse, when I get to this meditation place, why was it also fucking infested with spiders? But this time I was actually in the forest. I was actually in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm in their land. I'm in their territory. But bitch, from the months of July to August, the amount of spiders I have seen, enough to drive a person crazy. Honestly, the amount I've seen too much. I've seen too much.
Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off.
Like, if I never saw a spider again, I would be okay. Like, Charlotte, you're not welcome. I'm laughing to not keep from crying because it's actually crazy how many spiders I've seen. It's like enough for 3 lifetimes. I'm good. Anyway, I do the meditation retreat and it's like a refresher, okay? Fuck. I don't know if y'all want to hear the story about the meditation retreat, but because all of that stuff had come to a head, it was all a culmination of that. So when I got to the meditation retreat, I was girl, they was worried about me. I was worried about me. I was going through it. I don't know what the fuck. And this is why I can smile now because I was in, like I said, I was in the lowest place I've been ever in my life. And I needed help. I needed something to pull me out. I needed, not wanted, needed something. So the first week I was at this place, I was suffering. It was insufferable. And this wasn't the first time I'd done this. I've done this before. And I know 10 days of not talking, 10 days of meditating, it's tough. It's not easy. But just being in that mental space didn't help. I'm very grateful for that because it really helped me get out of the place that I was in. Because, girl, I really don't know if I would have made it. I can go into detail on that on another video, but I'm not going to go into detail because this is about my move to the Netherlands. So I was going through that meditation retreat, and by the end of it, I felt a lot more clear-headed from being away from this place. And like, during the time, I was able to come up with a plan of what I can do to get out of this situation and yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, fine. If I'm gonna have to deal with this, I'm gonna have to call an exterminator. I'm gonna move out, whatever I can do. Make a plan. Oh, I forgot to know also that the Netherlands does not see spiders as pests. So y'all might have been thinking, oh, if there was that many spiders, you could have just got some insect spray, some something. Girl, there's nothing. I can't tell you how many stores I went to. I looked in. I can't tell you how many stores I went to go look for bug spray in. I went to go look for some kind of trap, some nothing. Amazon, nothing. I went to France. Like I said, I was a lot more clear headed. I ended up having to buy spider repellent and stuff in France and bring it here because they don't have anything fucking here. And when I came back, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call an exterminator. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna get a mosquito net because I just don't feel one of the reasons I wasn't sleeping because I don't feel comfortable knowing they're crawling all around me at any hour, at any time. So by the time I ended the meditation, it was mid-August by the time I came back, and I had left mid-July. So I wasn't here for an entire month, besides that one day that I came back and left quickly, swiftly. Why would I come back? There were new cobwebs. There were new homes for these spiders. In my kitchen, you know how there were spiders hanging up from the cabinets before? Now there were big webs connecting from the top of my cabinets to the kitchen sink. On the other side of the cabinet, there was another one from the top of the cabinet. I don't know, to another side of the cabinet. There were big cobwebs this time. There were big nests with big juicy ass bitches hanging from them. There was another cobweb on my oven. They made new nests within the few weeks that I was away. I go to my bathroom. There's a huge cobweb connecting my sinks because in my bathroom there's 2 sinks. There was an even bigger nest than before.
I'm gonna let God fix it because if I fix it, I'm going to jail.
And I forgot to tell y'all, the first 2 weeks that I moved in, after I got the advice from the lawyer, they were like, okay, take a picture of everything that's wrong with the place. You're going to send it to the real estate agent and the landlord. Send it to them and they have to deal with it because you still have a time to like whatever. I sent it to them. I sent it to the landlord originally. And he's like, this is not my problem. Send it to the real estate agent. I send it to the real estate agent. The real estate agent is like, this is not my problem. Send it to the landlord. Can y'all see the theme that has been happening since coming here? People not doing what the fuck they're supposed to do. Anyway, after passive aggressively responding to both of them bitches being like, I don't care who takes care of it. One person is telling me the other person gonna take care of it. Other person telling me the other person gotta take care of it. I don't care. Get it handled. I'm not doing this anymore because y'all are gaslighting me, acting like I'm crazy. I had already told the real estate agent within the first week that there's too many spiders here. And they didn't really take it seriously. So then, after the 2 weeks, I sent the full list of everything that was wrong with it. And I'm like, I can't live here anymore. You need to make, something needs to happen. The real estate agent is like, okay, I'm going to come check out what has happened. I'm going to come look at the spider webs, come check out the problem. Why? I show him where the cobwebs were. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe it's dust. I show him the cobweb hanging from the ceiling. Maybe that's dust. That's definitely dust.
Oh, earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Oh, earth is ghetto.
So then by the time I come back from the meditation, There's new dust formations. And that's when I pull the plug. That's when I pull the fucking plug. I'm like, bitch, I'm calling an exterminator. There's no reason for me to be suffering. In my contract, it says if this place is not livable like I need it to be, then I can tell the landlord and they'll fix it. I told them they ain't do shit about the spiders. Like, y'all, I have told y'all many times that I cannot live here. This is stressing me out. So now I'm gonna take it out the rent. Whatever the exterminator costs is coming out of my rent expeditiously. I don't care anymore. And I do that. I do it. So then when I send them the money for the next month and it's missing the 150, I get an email from the real estate agent being like, oh, they're disappointed in you. They didn't. Spam folder. And I was trying to figure out a word of the best way to explain this apartment. And it's, if you're black, nigger rigged. The places that your grandma lived in, and it's like everything's taped up, everything's super glued, nigger rigged. I don't know the non-black equivalent. I don't even know. It's just rigged. Because I had also had told them that there was a loose tile in front of my shower, like on the ground. When you walk, the tile like caves in. So I complained to them about that. And when they came to fix it, I thought I was gonna have a new tile. Why I come back to see they just put a fucking baseboard over it, a piece of wood over it. Didn't fix the tile, just put a piece of wood over it. When I had to tell them that the dryer had stopped working, they brought a new dryer. That's all banged up. Why I have to clean out the dryer my fucking self? It looked like it had just come from a laundromat and someone had just put a fucking load in there because I had to clean the bitch myself. So since I moved in, since 2 weeks after, since July 14th, it was exactly 2 weeks, I have been ready to move. And I'm just now moving in fucking December. I have been looking for places that long. Can you feel my anger? Can you feel my lack of patience? Dealing with all of this while also having to deal with residence permit things, while also having to deal with working, while also having to deal with being in the worst mental place I've ever been in. Can you imagine how I feel? So I need to go around and film so y'all can understand. There's fucking mold on the ceiling, bitch. Why? What, last month? Mold start coming through the fucking wall. Bitch, just the other day. Okay, look. When I moved in, they like left random shit here. So you see those speakers. Those speakers have been here since I moved in. I don't know who left them. I don't know if it's landlords, the previous tenants. I don't know. They've just been here. Why? A few days ago, I noticed them bitches are growing mold. Yeah. That's also how I felt when I saw it. If I turn around this camera, y'all gonna see my real shame, and I can't talk about it. I'm ashamed. But when I tell you the way that I've been living for the past 4.5 months since moving into this apartment, shameful. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, you should be grateful. You should be." No, bitch. Of course, I'm grateful to not be homeless. Of fucking course. But I deserve better. Why am I living in this way? I deserve the best. So, the next time someone tries to humble you, especially black women, the next time someone tries to humble you, because they do that often, they do. And it's been a truth that I've experienced my entire life. saying, oh, you should just be grateful. You should just be thankful to have the opportunity. You should just be grateful. No, bitch. I should not be grateful for having to fight. I want a soft life. Why am I fighting spiders? The first time I complained about the spiders, why my landlord give me a fucking spray? I don't even have it here. He gave me a fly trap, ant spray. When I complained about having an infestation of spiders, he gave me fly ant spray. So y'all be safe out there. We're going to end it there. So I would like to thank y'all again for listening to this episode of the Fat Belly Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, make sure you follow to know when I post another episode. And until next time, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bisous.